we are back, you guys. It's been a minute, but I am so excited that we are finally coming with some heat. So today we're gonna be making one of my favorite things to cook, macaroni and cheese. If you follow me on my channel, you know I've done mac and cheese a few times, but I feel like we finally have gotten it to exactly where we want it after trying everybody else's recipes. So today we're gonna do our version with a couple minor tweaks that I hope you guys really like, and we're gonna do it easy enough so that you can do it too. So with no further ado, baby, you ready?
Let's get started.
For the ingredients, you will need some half and half, 2 cans of Carnation, elbow macaroni, mild cheddar. We had 8 ounces, well, 2 8-ounce packs. We also incorporated pepper jack cheese, which may seem weird, but when I tell you, it slaps, so you definitely gonna need that. And mozzarella, eggs, and then we used a Dutch oven to put it in the oven. So these are all of the ingredients on this side, and then our seasonings are right here. We had paprika, adobo, black pepper, kosher salt, and then I did incorporate some seasoning salt.
So I got step 1. So of course you have to boil the water first, and then you gotta have your elbow macaroni and cheese. Did I say that weird? Elbow? Whatever. Elbow macaroni and cheese. You get the point. Usually we use the 16-ounce feeds. I'd probably say anywhere between about 6 to 8 people, but if you have more people, you may want to do 2 boxes. All right. So we're gonna start off with the salt. We're gonna put the salt in the water. Not too much, and then go ahead and pour the elbows in. Did you guys miss us? Do you guys even remember who we are? You guys probably don't remember me. We're gonna have to do like a before and after. Like, since I have this afro now, since COVID, we gotta get one of those pictures. And voila. And just, of course, follow the directions on your box. I'll say cooking time varies. Just make sure you stir pretty often so they don't stick together.
All right, you guys, so step 2 is we need to shred the cheese. So we're gonna be working with mild cheddar. We're also gonna use our mozzarella cheese. We have 2 sticks of this as well. And then the last cheese we'll be using is our pepper jack cheese. I got this from, I believe his name is Neamated or Neamated on TikTok. I'll also link his channel in the description box. You guys can check him out because half of this recipe is from him. I don't want to take all the credit. Half of the way that you do this recipe is based on him. The seasonings are me, the quantity are me and Brian. So I just want to be totally transparent with you guys though. And then we're not going to do this now, but we're also going to be incorporating half and half. We're going to use this for our custard that we will also mix with eggs. And then we also have 2 cans of Carnation. This is the instant Carnation evaporated milk, and it is going to be used for when we're mixing all of our amazing cheeses together with our noodles. It's going to taste so good when we get this thing rolling. So let's go ahead and get into it. I don't know how I ended up with the shredding job. I guess I totally calculated this wrong. I should have had Brian with the muscles doing the shredding and me doing the noodles. But we gonna still make it happen. All done. I can't take all the credit though. B actually graded all of this for me. He was very nice. But we graded everything except for the pepper jack. So I'm gonna show you guys. The pepper jack is here. So we have cubed the pepper jack. This one's gonna melt down, but the rest we actually have in the bowl right here. And I'm only going to add it at like a little bit at a time. And I'm gonna stop when it looks right, because I will say, watching the gentleman I was telling you guys about earlier, it looked like he only used a block, but I'm pretty sure he had 2 blocks of his. So I'm just gonna watch and see when we're adding it. Play it by ear, make sure we don't add too much because we don't want anybody being constipated, but we want it to be tasty nonetheless. I guess we can go ahead and get into it because Brian's noodles are done. Time to drain them, and I'm about ready to eat. Alright guys, Brian is cracking 2 eggs, so we're putting our 2 eggs, and then what we're gonna do is add a can of Carnation milk to the bowl, and then once we get that in there, he's going to add a splash of half and half to it. So we didn't measure it, but I think it was like 1/4 a cup. You can kind of watch and see and just like play it by I guess it wouldn't be playing it by ear, but you're gonna just kind of eyeball what he does. I think it was literally about 1/4 cup of half and half, because the bowl right here is almost full, and when he adds it, it literally was at the brim when we were trying to mix up those eggs. But this step, like mixing it, made it the perfect consistency, the perfect thickness. And when it came out of the oven, it was nice and creamy, but not too creamy. It wasn't like watery, but it also wasn't too thick. Like the consistency was legit bomb. So I do also want to mention the other cup of Carnation we poured directly into the pot to kind of get everything melting down. And we added 1 stick of butter, which you'll see in just a moment. Okay guys, we're gonna start with our stick of butter. So we're adding our stick of butter first. I forgot to mention in the ingredients earlier that you will need a stick. So we'll drop that in, and I'm gonna move it to the bottom where the heat is at. I've got the heat right now on low while I mix all this together because I need the cheese to melt. So the goal here is to season the pasta, melt the butter, and melt the cheese before we put it in the oven. So we're gonna add our last can of Carnation, if I can get it. We'll get this last can added. I think the can has some technical difficulties. Here we go. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted to eyeball the cheese just to make sure I didn't add too much. So what I basically am doing here is I'm adding the cheese, mixing it up so it starts to melt, and then I'm just going to continue adding it. I will say though, I probably put in about 4/5 of the bowl, and then everything that was left ended up going over the top of the cheese, or over the top of the mac and cheese, and it came out really, really good. We probably put a little more over the top than we needed, but I will say it came out absolutely perfect like this. So you don't have to use this much cheese, but for us, we really enjoyed it being like this, and you'll see when we get to the end why. Now we're gonna add our pepper jack cheese. Get that down on the bottom. A couple things I didn't mention is we decided to get the cheese that you shred, because when you buy the cheese that's already shredded, it is coated with a little bit of this material that makes the cheese not stick together when it's in the bag. However, we don't want that. So that's why we shredded our own cheese. You don't have to do that though. When I'm not in the mood, or I know I'm on a pinch in terms of my time, I will just put the cheese in here and we'll get the cheese that's already shredded. So we're almost there. The cheese is starting to look really beautiful inside this pan. Baby, can you get a shot of the cheese inside of the pan so they can see how beautiful this is looking? And now it's time to add our custard. Yummy. The custard is gonna make this really creamy and just super, super cheesy and taste absolutely amazing. And the other part that's nice about the custard is it's not gonna be too creamy, but once you let it kind of sit a little bit after you take it out the oven, it's gonna get this really nice consistency. One last thing I wanna mention is definitely be sure to save some cheese to put on top of your macaroni and cheese when you're all done and ready to put it in the oven. So we've got a nice mixture of our mozzarella cheese and our mild cheddar right here, so that way we can get a nice little coating, season the top with a little paprika for color, and it's gonna look so, so beautiful. So now we're going to season the actual pot. This part, you don't want to get too heavy-handed, and it is beneficial to taste it if you can. Some people don't like tasting food when it's actually not all the way done. I'm gonna taste it just to make sure it's not bland, but we are gonna taste it. And perfect timing, our oven is all the way done heating. So we're just gonna add a little bit of the adobo. Not a lot, just a sprinkle, okay? Because if you do too much, you can taste it. It'll be way too much. We're gonna do a little paprika. Not a lot, just a little baby splash. And then we're gonna do some black pepper. You can go a little heavier with the black pepper. I like black pepper a lot. So personally, I love to add my black pepper and get that going. And the last seasoning we're gonna add is a little bit of Lowry's seasoning salt. Now, again, you don't wanna go too heavy-handed with this, but you do wanna season to taste, which is why I'm gonna taste this. But because I'm mixing the Lowry's and the adobo, I don't want it to be too crazy. So we just did a sprinkle, and then I'm gonna taste it and see if anything else is needed. But so far it's looking beautiful. The color is nice and it smells absolutely delicious.
So essentially just buttering the cast iron so it doesn't stick. That's it. Nothing too fancy. And then once finished, get a good lather on there. And then you buttering up the cast iron so it doesn't stick. So got a good lather in there, spread all around. And then now we're gonna put the noodles and cheese finished product in here, and it's gonna be ready for the oven.
Now Brian is adding the cheese over the top. Like I mentioned, you guys, we added all of this. However, we did not need to. I'm not gonna say because of that it was bad, but I just will say you probably could use half of this. As long as it's coated, that's the goal, but you don't have to put this much cheese because when you cut ours, that layer was like a for real layer of cheese, okay? So I'm gonna just let y'all know. I still ate it though, and it was still fire, but just, you know, when you go to do this yourself, you do not need this much cheese. The last thing before we put this boy in the oven is we put a little paprika over the top for color. I don't think paprika really does anything, but it does make it look cute. So that's what we're doing here. And then we're going to cover it with the top, put it in the oven, and we actually did uncover this. I don't think we mentioned it in the talking parts, but we uncovered it for about 10 minutes before we took it out the oven.
So we have the oven on 350, just put the mac and cheese in there. So now that it's in there, we're gonna let it cook for about 30 to 45 minutes. I'm just gonna wait for it to brown.
You want some mac and cheese? You want some mac and cheese? Those of you who are from my channel know I absolutely love Plonk. Plonk is from a winery here in Fort Wayne, Indiana called 2 E's. They have some absolutely delicious wines. If you like sweets, if you like Rieslings, if you like reds, they have something for everybody, honestly, whatever your palate is like. So I'm gonna actually crack into this because obviously macaroni is a pasta and I love to have my Plonk with my pastas. Now typically I will actually cool my Plonk. I've been cooling it lately and just chilling it a little bit, but you don't have to chill the Plonk. It definitely does not have to be chilled. So we're gonna go ahead and crack into this. You can order this online if you're somebody who likes to order wines and try them out and you're not in the Fort Wayne area. You can order this. It's about $20 for shipping, so I definitely recommend getting a couple bottles. I recommend the Plonk and the Pink Diamond. And then there was another one we just got. It starts with a C, but I can't remember the exact name, but I'll try to put it in the description box as well. So check these out, you guys. Don't sleep on 2 E's because their stuff is absolutely delicious. All right, babe, this is the moment of truth. We're gonna try it and see if it's slapping. You gonna try it?
Go ahead, I'll let you go first.
No, go ahead, we do it together. Same time. You got your wine?
Of course.
Okay. That's good. I think we got it, like, honestly perfect. No cap. That's pretty good.
It's really, really good.
It might be my best time. Well, our best time. This is really good. So, this is the way to do it. We definitely use the full 2 packs of the mild cheddar, 2 packs of the, what was it, mozzarella, 1 pack of the pepper jack, 2 eggs, 2 cans of Carnation, it's probably like 1/4 cup of the whipping cream, or the half and half, and then seasonings. So, y'all, this is really good, really cheesy. Definitely not for the faint at heart. So, you know, if you got issues with like constipation, this ain't the cheese for you. This is not the mac for you, because it's a lot of cheese in here. But it's really good. We just want to thank you for watching this video. If you decide to try this macaroni and cheese recipe, please come back and let us know. Also, like I said, I will have the inspiration for how I got this, because I've tried a lot of recipes. The inspiration will also be in the description box. You can go check them out as well. And I guess we're gonna let them get back to their day. So thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.